Welcome to Mick and T's Sports Report here on CHCO-TV. I'm Joe Ticotsky down here in New Haven, Connecticut.
And I'm Evan McFarlane, just sitting in my office at the Algonquin Golf Course in beautiful St. Andrews, New Brunswick.
Nice plug, nice plug.
I do what I can. Hey, we're now ranked number 69 in Canada by Score Golf Canada this year, so it's a really big jump for us. We're pretty excited about it.
That's awesome. That is awesome. Keep moving up the charts.
Yeah, well, we will.
Us, this is episode number 8. Where are the fingers? Everyone's got it. We got some young counters there. There we go.
8 minus the thumbs?
Or the Ocho for fans of the movie Dodgeball. It's also our 4th episode using Zoom. And with the U.S.-Canada border still being closed until at least late August, I think we're going to be sticking with this format for the foreseeable future. So all I can say to the other JT is, please, Mr. Trudeau, for the love of God, open up the border to us. We'll even give you your choice of Boston, San Francisco, or pre-pandemic Miami. Your choice of any of those. Those are 3 pretty good cities.
Yeah.
A couple other things. While I was looking around in my boredom here, I just found out that CHCO is available on Bell satellite television all throughout Canada. So anywhere in the country, you can watch it. If you live in Fortune, Newfoundland, population 1401, you can watch the show. If you live in Flin Flon, Manitoba, population 4991, you can watch it.
What a great handle for a town name.
It is awesome. And even if you live in Montreal, population 1.78 million, you can watch it, which is pretty awesome. And our U.S. viewers, as they have been, they can watch our show on Charlotte County Television's YouTube channel. So we hope they've been enjoying our shenanigans so far. Have quick check-in on the affairs up in New Brunswick. What's going on up there these days?
Yeah, so we've gone to opening up the Atlantic bubble. So Atlantic Canada right now is acting as a region, which means with a couple pieces of paperwork, we're able to bounce around the Atlantic provinces without isolation. So we're seeing quite a bit of traffic here in St. Andrews because of it. And there's a lot of people that I know that live away from home now, and we've been able to reconnect with that. And I guess all the provinces are fairly busy. The first few days, the wait times at the borders was a little aggressive. We're talking like 4 or 5 hours.
Oof.
But, I heard somebody come from Halifax the other day and it was like 10 minutes.
Oh, nice, nice. We're finally getting our act together. Connecticut is one of the best of the states in terms of controlling things. So hopefully we'll keep on that trajectory. Some of our viewers commented from our last episode with my original pronunciation of the town in Nova Scotia, Antigonish, which I think is correct now. I embarrassingly pronounced it as Antigonish the first time around. But I have to ask you something, Evan. On the last show, you used the phrase alma mater. How do you pronounce that?
Not like that, I'm assuming?
Yeah, how do you pronounce it last show?
Alma mater.
Yeah, that was interesting.
Well, I guess my question for you, Joe, with your mispronouncing of words, how would you pronounce the word that's spelled out Hater?
You got me, Mr. English. I was going to say hotter.
Point, McFarlane.
Oh, man, the fun continues. We have a new segment for our show here, and it's going to, as I go to change the picture here, and we will go to a new segment that we are calling Love the Leaf. Yeah. And it's for our American viewers, and we want to educate our cross-border viewers on some things that are uniquely Canadian.
Okay.
So, Evan, why don't you explain to everyone, if you know, what a bonspiel is?
A bonspiel? That's a good one. probably one of the funnest weekends that you can have in the winter. It's a curling tournament that is accompanied by alcoholic beverage and maybe some social debauchery. So
Wow.
just a fancy name for a curling tournament.
I mistakenly thought it was an Austrian dessert. I didn't know what the heck it was. And does it look something like that? That be an outdoor one?
That would be an outdoor one. That looks like a pretty good time right there.
Yeah, yeah. So if you're ever up for a Bonspiel, do they have one in St. Andrews, don't they?
Yeah, we have a couple really large ones, actually. We have a ladies one early in the season and a men's one late in the season that attracts, we get teams from all across Atlantic Canada, a couple from Quebec, Ontario, and Massachusetts, actually.
Oh, good stuff. Good stuff. All right, we're going to move on to one of our segments that I know everyone loves, loves, loves. The news of the weird. So we've each got a couple stories. I will get organized here with mine. The first one, Kahlua, an infamous alcoholic monkey in Kanpur, India, has been sentenced to live out his days in isolation, Gulf News reported. The animal once belonged to a local occultist who would give him alcohol. After the owner died, Kahlua still couldn't get his fix and became aggressive, sinking his teeth into more than 250 people, one of whom actually died. The local zoo took Kahlua in, tried to acclimate him to captivity and other monkeys, but the zoo workers are throwing in the towel. One of them said it's been 3 years since he was brought here, and he will remain in captivity the rest of his life. Kahlua, the alcoholic monkey.
Poor guy. There's no AA for monkeys?
MAA. What do you have?
All right. For those missing travel abroad, Songshan Airport in Taiwan is offering 90 people the opportunity to tour the airport and pretend to go abroad. Participants can spend half a day going through immigration, boarding an airplane, and then getting off the plane and re-entering the country through immigration. People who didn't have the opportunity to take international flights can now use this chance to experience and learn more about the boarding process and relevant service facilities. The deputy director of the airport told CNN, tour customers will also get to take home exclusive, mysterious gifts.
That sounds like a fun day. A fun day at the airport, not flying.
You couldn't catch me in an airport right now.
No, not in that tube of a petri dish of a tube. All right, my last one, a 39-year-old man in Tokyo admits his passion is sometimes more like a curse. He is compelled to document every lost glove he sees on the streets of the city. He photographs and records details about each one, whether they're stuck in drains or washed up on a beach, but never touches them. Over 15 years, he's collected more than 5,000 stray gloves, including children's mittens, heavy workingmen's gloves, and lacy ladies' accessories. He said, I live with the constant fear that there might be a glove right around the corner. He even gets off buses before his scheduled stop if he sees a glove on the ground. For him, the attraction is thinking about how the glove got there and who once wore it. Interesting stuff.
Is it a black one that's a little too small?
What's your last one?
Lawrence Briggs was arrested in Marshalltown, Iowa, after he walked out of a sports page store with $153 worth of merchandise and he did not pay for. Moments earlier, he had filled out a job application to work at the store, and when surveillance cameras recognized him, managers called him in for an interview. The police then made the arrest.
Nice.
You got the job.
News of the weird. All right, that should be it for segment one, all over the place segment one. We will be back after this break with a really special guest here on Mick and T Sports Report on CHCO-TV. Welcome back to Mick and T Sports Report on CHCO-TV. And our special guest for this episode is Mike Ganter of the Toronto Sun Daily newspaper, who's the beat writer for the defending NBA champion Toronto Raptors. Mike is originally, you can see we have our gear on. Mike's originally from Chesterville, Ontario. and then went to Ryerson University in Toronto, the Rams, where he majored in journalism. 2 years into college, he started working part-time at the paper in the sports department. Eventually was hired full-time, has now been there for over 30 years. He's covered high school sports, the CFL, Major League Baseball, and for over 10 years, the NBA. Let's welcome Mike Ganter to the show. How's everything going, Mike?
Everything's going great. How are things there?
Going well, going
Good.
well. We have a lot to talk about, so let's get rolling. Depending on when people view this show, the season will have just started or will be rolling. Do you think with the bubble concept down in Orlando that it will allow a full NBA season to be played?
Yeah, I honestly do. But I mean, you got to remember, it's only going to be as strong as the people within, and I'm talking about the players now. If the players decide that they don't want to honor the barriers and they want to step outside the actual bubble, and it's clearly marked down there. I mean, we've already had a few instances where guys have inadvertently crossed the line. I don't know how that's possible because from what I understand, it's clearly marked. But anyway, it's only going to be as strong as the players make it. Now, it's in their best interest to make this work because this is money out of their pocket. And I mean, if you want to get an NBA player's attention, tell him he's going to lose money, and he'll snap to pretty quick. So, like I said, it's in their best interest, and they, I think it will work because of that. The protocols they've got in place. I mean, they've done their homework. They've gone through everything, all the possibilities, and there's still going to be some things where they know they're going to have to adapt. But that's the other skill. That's the other strong point of the NBA. They're very adaptable. They're quick to move. And I really believe this thing is going to work. Again, as long as we don't have too many idiots who decide that the rules don't apply to them.
There you go. Now, why don't you explain to us why you personally will not be down in Orlando covering the team?
Yeah, that's an expense thing. They've made it cost prohibitive for the media to actually go in there, and I don't think they've done this on purpose, although that did cross my mind. It's going to cost a media member about $650 a day to go into the bubble, and that's going to be you're staying in their hotels, which are all 6 and 7 stars. You're eating their food, and you're paying for your own COVID tests. So, and those are daily. So all that expense, $650 a day times 3 months. It's far more than we would ever spend covering a team. I had an opportunity. I could have gone down. They have 10 slots open for media member or newspaper people, and however many more for broadcasters. So I could have gone down, but again, the cost was such that it just didn't make sense. And they're making, the same venue or same way we're doing this Zoom call right now. We've got Zoom calls on a daily basis. They've been going for about 2 or 3 weeks now, and we get 2 players and the head coach. So we can talk to them. The only problem is there's very little context. We don't, you can't see practice, obviously, and you can't have those chats off to the side that usually develop the best stories that we write. So a lot of guys are writing a lot of the same thing right now, but we're all in the same boat pretty much, except for maybe those 10.
Well, you're in good company because my main man, Marv Albert, will also not be down there reporting. So you'll have to do your own, Lowry. Yes. My bad imitation of the
That
day.
is not a bad. That's not a bad imitation at all.
I've been working on that for months. Have you got a question for Mike?
Yeah, I guess, Mike, I kind of look at Toronto in the unique position that they're just the one Canadian team. So you've got this entire large country backing them. You got We the North that stem from it. Like, home games are just a wild environment, and you've seen them feed off those and make comebacks in games that typically they might have lost. I guess with this now, they're going to be We the South down in Orlando, and we're not going to have all the fans. Do you think this is maybe going to affect how they play?
I really don't. They're a very strong, they're a strong-minded team. They've got older players, mature players, and they've done really, like you see them, and I've seen this happen time and time again. You go on a road trip with them, and again, it is harder to play on the road. You're 100% right. But they'll get on the road and they'll be down 3 or 4 players, and 1 or 2 of those players will be key players, and they just find a way to make it work. They love a challenge, and they always step up. And they're actually, sometimes I feel they're actually a better road team than they are a home team because they that challenge is it means a lot to them. So no, I don't think it's going to be a hindrance. In fact, I think it may be an advantage for them.
Yeah, they are a pretty mature team.
Yeah, the culture's a pretty good next man up mentality.
Oh yeah, no, they've learned that, especially this year. You look at how many man games they lost due to injury, and we're not talking the 14th and 15th guy on the roster. We're talking starters and 6th and 7th man in the rotation guys, and everybody has missed time except for I think Terrence Davis and OG Anunoby, and they've just made it work. Yeah, exactly. Cross your fingers.
All right, Mike, who is your favorite Raptors player to interview?
Oh, that's an easy one. Fred VanVleet. He is he's smart. He's cooperative. He's a grown up. He's 25 years old and he speaks like he's 40. There's nothing you can ask him that he doesn't have an opinion on and isn't willing to share it, which is important in professional sports these days because a lot of guys will just hide. Fred doesn't do that. And I mean, he grew up in not your typical silver spoon athlete either. He grew up he grew up pretty hard, just outside Chicago, Illinois, in Rockford, and had nothing given to him. Had to earn everything he got, and he's just become easily the best interview in the room. I mean, Kyle Lowry's IQ is as high or higher than Fred's, and Marc Gasol's maybe too. But those two aren't quite as cooperative with the media as Fred is, and we're very lucky to have him.
I mean, some might say he's steady.
Yeah, yes, he is steady and Freddie.
Okay, you got about 30 seconds in this segment. An opposing player you enjoy interviewing?
There's a few. I mean, I tend to go to the guys I know, and so the guys who've been through Toronto, like Jose Calderon and that. But I mean, I just enjoy the people who have varied opinions, and guys like Dwayne Wade, and I know he's no longer in the league, but again, he can speak on any subject. LeBron James, I'm never going to get a one-on-one with him, but again, he can speak on any subject, and people really, really sort of underestimate his intelligence because he can speak on anything, and it's just impressive, and it's fun to talk to those guys.
Good stuff. Okay, after the break, we will have Mike back with us for a few more minutes. We'll talk some Toronto hockey and baseball. Our guest is Mike Ganter, sports writer for the Toronto Sun, and you're watching Mick and T Sports Report on CHCO-TV. We're back with Mike Ganter, sports writer for the Toronto Sun. We have a few minutes left. We already spoke about the Raptors in the last segment, so we briefly wanted to touch on hockey and baseball. Ev, what you got?
Mike, I'm an absolute diehard Leafs fan. I have been my whole life. I say every episode I'm a sucker for punishment. But I'm the guy who will tell you this is our year every year the season starts. The team's getting close, I think. We've got some wicked pieces in place, but from your perspective, if free agency opens up, what do we have to go do right now to be that team?
Oh, defense. It's all on the back end. I mean, I like they've sort of fixed the backup goaltending issue, and again, that's not a big one, but it was an issue, and they've sort of fixed that. But the defense is still like they're just not a top tier team defensively, and I mean, Freddie Anderson is a great goaltender, but you cannot ask him to stop 45 shots every single night. It's just, I mean, we've seen what happens, right? I mean, he does it in the regular season, and for a good portion of the time, he's on his game. And then you get to the playoffs, and the man is just so worn down, he's got nothing left. So I really think you need a stronger defense core. I like some of the pieces they have. It's just, but there's just not enough. There's not enough depth there. And if they're going to spend any money, and again, that's if they have any money, because we all know how much they spent on Matthews and Marner and Nylander and that group. So yeah, they're going to go that way.
If you're Dubas, do you maybe trade one of those forwards for one of those big name defensemen in the league that we need to get?
Yeah, 100%. I think there's an excess on the offensive side and definitely a deficit on the defensive side. So and my choice would be, I guess my choice would be Nylander. He's just coming into his own, I think. And I understand you're trading away a huge asset, but you want to get a good defenseman, you're going to have to trade one of those guys. And of all of them, he's the one I would part with who I think would bring back the most.
Okay. Mike, on to baseball. Most people have the Blue Jays as an under 500 team this year. Accurate, or do you think they could possibly sneak into one of the wild card spots?
It's a weird year. I don't know if they're an under 500 team, but even to sneak in to be a wild card team, you're going to have to play well above 500, I think. So no, I mean, to answer your question, I think they can play above 500, but I don't think they can sneak into a wild card. I think there's just too many good teams, too many more established teams. They are on the come, though. I mean, I like that group, Guerrero and Bichette, and who's the second baseman that I'm leaving out? Anyway, I do like their group. They're younger. They're getting there. But much like the Leafs don't have defense. The Jays, they don't have their pitching yet. It's coming. When the Pearson kid comes up, I mean, he throws gas. He's going to be great.
Pearson stuff.
Yeah, I don't understand why they're holding him. Well, I guess I kind of do understand why they're holding him back. It's a money thing and a control thing. But in their position, I would say get him in there as quick as possible, because you want him developing with the Bichettes and with the Guerreros of the team. You don't want that lag between where, you know, he's just finding his legs and they're already there. You want that group to come up together. So I think that's a mistake.
Will they be in Toronto, or will they be in Buffalo?
No, I think they're going to be in Buffalo. That's just it's ridiculous to ask, and it's not a home field advantage anyway. There's nobody in the stand. Right. That place is bad when it's half full. Imagine when it's empty. It'll be no. So I think they'll be in Buffalo, mostly for safety reasons, and because I think our federal government will actually make the right decision for a change.
Yeah, you don't want us you can admit it. You don't want us Americans up there crossing the border.
I don't want anybody that Trump didn't test.
There you go. Okay, to finish up here, we always do a charity spotlight, so we decided to do something different this time. And we're going to ask our guest, I asked our guest to highlight a charity, and Mike has chosen the charity Black Lives Matter Canada. So if you would like to donate to that charity, you can go on the web and go to blacklivesmatter.ca. Mike, thanks so much for coming on the show. It's great to give us time. I know it's a crazy sports world we're living in. So we thank you. So stay safe, stay healthy, and let's hope you'll be writing some Raptors game articles well into October.
It was my pleasure, and I hope the same. Thank you very much for having me.
Thanks, Mike.
All right, guys.
Excellent job by Mike during that interview. Very timely.
Yeah, no, that was awesome. Maybe he can get us in with Drake for the next one.
Yeah, tickets at the minimum. All right, we are on to the last few minutes of the show, so we'll go to our music spotlight. Evan, why don't you start us off?
You know what? I'm just going to keep pumping the tires of really good East Coast bands. I saw these guys last year at a music festival in Prince Edward Island, where they're from. Check them out. They're called the East Pointers.
East Point. Hey, there you go.
And that's their newest album cover with your background there. Well done. Yours to Break. And they're from PEI? Correct. All right. I am going to continue along that same line. I have another band. They're also from PEI. And believe it or not, their name is Sorry. Sorrey. As much as I like to say the band is named after my favorite Canadian phrase, sorry, they're actually named after lead singer Emily Sorry. So there's their logo. So we have two bands, the East Pointers and Sorry, both from PEI. Okay, and now we are finishing up. So let's do some shout outs. Evan, why don't you start us off? Yeah, I got one here. I'm going to give a shout out to basically my third aunt growing up. She watches our shows in Fredericton every week when we put them out. And this is to Teresa Logan. Hi, Teresa. Excellent. Excellent. I'm going to go family also. This is to a relative of mine who lives in California. My cousin Maury, not my cousin Vinny, my cousin Maury. He is now 97 years old. Awesome. Still makes dinner for himself every night, which is more than I can say for myself. And every day
He tells me he reads the New York Times and the San Francisco Chronicle newspapers. Amazing. So cousin Maury in California. Hope all's
Awesome.
going
Hey,
well.
Maury. Thanks for checking us out.
Hope you're enjoying your bit of Canada here. All right. Well, for us, that seems to be it for episode number 8 of Mick and T's Sports Report. This is Joe Ticotsky in New Haven, Connecticut.
And I'm Evan McFarlane in St. Andrews, New Brunswick.
We hope you all enjoyed the show. Thanks again to Patrick Watt of CHCO-TV and his crew over on Reed Street in lovely St. Andrews. And a quick shout out.
Reed Avenue, Joe. Reed Avenue.
Oh, Reed Avenue. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Reed Avenue in lovely St. Andrews. Enjoy the remainder of your summer and stay healthy, stay safe, and we'll see everyone next month on CHCO-TV.